Marine reacts to SCP-173, the sculpture, classified as a Euclid, and is an observational SCP featuring SCP Unity by TheVolgun. Now, before we go ahead and get into the video, I want to let you know that I have started going to school again for this term in the winter. So far it hasn't interrupted any video uploading as of late. So I will continue to post videos daily. And as usual, I'm going to post a link to the original video down below, as well as the channel. And before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. I'm actually insanely surprised with the amount of growth the channel has been getting just over the past few days alone. And go ahead and comment down below what's your favorite SCP that you want to see a reaction from. Because honestly, that's how I'm really doing these videos now. Because so far, I've been getting great videos from every single one that you all have been commenting on. So. Also, don't forget to click that notification button right here. That way you get notified every time I upload. I upload on a daily basis. Sometimes even twice a day, typically working on them in the mornings, and then release them later on in the afternoon when you're all off work and you can enjoy them at your leisure. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what this SCP-173 is. I hear it's very popular.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-173. Object Class, Euclid.
Okay.
Special
Pretty easy
containment
to contain
procedures. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them.
Is that a
At
statue?
all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. Description: moved to Site 19 in 1993, origin is as of yet unknown. It is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. SCP-173 is animate and extremely hostile. The object cannot move while within a direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time.
Okay, so it's kind of like the Weeping Angels, sort of.
Personnel assigned to enter container are instructed to alert one another before blinking.
It's pretty smart. Oh, so literally, even if you blink.
Snapping the neck at the base of the skull, or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. Personnel report sounds of scraping stone originating from within the container when no one is present inside. This is considered normal, and any change in this behavior should be reported to the acting HMCL supervisor on duty. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood.
Oh, it actually shits?
Origin of these materials is unknown. The enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis.
Ooh.
Addendum 173.
Wait, so does this also work like through a camera?
During a site-wide
like
incursion on May 16, 2018, SCP-173 breached containment. A pair of D-Class personnel were able to lure the object into SCP-914's containment chamber. It is believed that the personnel were attempting to destroy SCP-173 by utilizing SCP-914's rough setting. During this attempt, one of the individuals became trapped within SCP-914's input chamber alongside SCP-173. The other D-Class changed the object's setting to 1-to-1 and activated the machine before escaping. SCP-173 survived the process and was apparently unharmed. However, its physical appearance is now altered. The trapped D-Class was not recovered. And this is audio log 173-U1. During the breach, it appears that a pair of D-Class lured 173 into 914's containment cell. I've looked over the surveillance logs, and it appears
Don't really have a frame or reference to what 914 is supposed to be, though.
There was a complication when the younger of the two became trapped in the input booth. alongside 173. Seemingly in a panic, the older D-Class attempted to try and free the younger D-Class, but being inexperienced in operating 914, he started pressing or twisting any button or dial he could.
So it's like a machine?
D-Class accidentally activated 914 on the 1-to-1 setting. Judging by the security footage, this wasn't his intention, as the older D-Class was observed to be extremely distressed and immediately fled the containment chamber. The problem is that there is a lot about this version of SCP-173 we don't understand.
What does he mean by
it appears
version,
to behave
though?
in a similar manner as before, which the other D-Class learned the hard way, but the full extent of the physical changes are still under review.
Okay, so it changed when
Testing
they
indicates
introduced it to
does not have any
914.
new
Somewhat.
abilities beyond the facial patterns altering over time, which seems to be purely cosmetic as far as we've observed. They don't seem to reflect SCP-173's mood or intent. The physical appearance has drastically changed as well. We'll keep testing until we're sure that these cosmetic changes aren't indicative of anything else.
Alright, real quick. So I heard this is supposed to be one of the more famous ones, or like ones that people could immediately recognize. And I remember seeing a picture that looks similar like this somewhere. I don't know if it was Facebook or wherever it was, but I remember seeing a picture that was pretty similar to the one that was in this video. I didn't really know what it was about. I thought it was just, I don't know, like a random picture. But then, so these things can move. So, I mean, this thing, because I think it's only one, right? And they'll move. They can snap your neck so long as they're not in a line of sight with anybody. I don't think they specified whether or not it can be done through secondary means. That way, if they have 3 people going in there to clean it every week, then they can have, what, like 5 or 10 people looking at it from like a camera room. And if it still works, then that way they can go a lot faster and not having to tell each other, like, hey, I have to blink. Because then, I mean, if they're that fast that they can move when you blink, then, you know, why not just take the extra precaution? I'm really liking the way the TheVolgun is really describing these SCPs. It really goes like in a very good format. I remember somebody commenting that TheVolgun has it, that he reads this directly from the Reddit post, I believe. And that way you're getting a description, containment procedures, a little interview or story, small story that actually explains, like, say, if there was a breach or something happened. So I thought that was really cool. I really like the way the TheVolgun is doing the SCPs. And overall, I can just really see why people would really like this SCP, just because there's a lot of mystery towards it. And honestly, I don't know how this thing wouldn't be a Keter class pop. I mean, well, technically they just have to look at it and it can't move, so they keep it in a container. But if it were to break out and nobody, like if it just timed itself correctly, it could technically go around the world just snapping people's necks, right? Considering the amount of speed that it has. I don't think they specified how fast it can go, fast enough to get you when you blink your eye, at least. I'm also curious as to, like, because they said that it's shit, so that they have to clean on a bi-weekly basis. So is it like an inanimate object that can move and is thinking, like has a conscience, or is it actually a living thing because it's having to go to the bathroom, if that makes sense? I also had to research what this 914 SCP one was, because I mean, her dials were turned from the D-Class personnel, so I'm assuming it's some kind of machine or something. But I would have to look at that and kind of get a frame of reference, because they're saying that that's when it changed its face, or like, which is probably purely cosmetic. So overall, a really interesting SCP, and honestly, I'm hoping there's a little more story or just more information on it, because I feel like you can go a lot farther with this. But that's it for this video. Go ahead and leave a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it. It really helps me improve the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you can get updated every time I upload. And once again, if you made it this far, I just want to thank all of you for subscribing, commenting, liking the videos. It really means a lot, and I just want to say thank you. So, till then, I'll see you all in the next reaction video. Bye.